And welcome YouTube types. This is our YouTube exclusive space weather video here at the Smash News Network, these busted name of news, and we've got a bonus feature at the end to show you. Cosmic ray flux. It's a cosmic ray update. And we're starting things out by looking at the earthly geospace. So here's Earth's magnetosphere, out to about 12 Earth diameters. Magnetohydrodynamic pressure is what's being modeled here, nanopascals. For the past 4 hours, it's our geospace magnetosphere movie showing the pressure environment around planet Earth. Pretty calm conditions here. We've got quite a slow solar wind speed. We'll get to it in a moment. Looking like it dropped below 300. Next, ground magnetic perturbations. We showed you Earth's magnetic moment from space. Here's Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. Changes to Earth's B field expressed as geospace delta B. And what's modeled here is nanotesla magnetic flux density. Let's continue on, shall we? The past 4 hours, fairly uneventful here in terms of geomagnetism. KP index at 1 over the past 15 hours. And looking at the real-time solar wind, again, we see quite a slow solar wind. Oh, weird, we've got varying reports here. So it looks like we've actually got a fast solar wind. Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard was showing us below 300 kilometers per second. By the way, the radio flux has dropped down to 119 solar flux units. So anyway, a small reduction in both X-ray flux and the radio flux. Solar wind speed actually elevated here, now showing about 530 kilometers per second. Solar wind density only 3.6 protons per cubic centimeter. And by the way, if you see some abnormalities in these data, make sure you look at the bottom. For example, the blue line is the Discover, a spacecraft located at Lagrange point 1 to measure solar wind and other parameters. The ACE is another similar spacecraft. That's the green bar. And this moment here was a switchover. You can see it's switching from the ACE to the Discover at this moment. And the yellow bar means error suspect. So not exactly sure what the problem is with the data there. Usually you see that when you see a solar wind density below 1 proton per cubic centimeter. Probably why they decided to switch, as the ACE was showing like only 1/10 of 1 proton per cubic centimeter. That's an incredibly low density solar wind. Anyway, continuing on, I just wanted to note those facts for you as how the data is displayed. Now getting into magnetic information. Time to look at the GOES magnetometers here. And it's fairly smooth here over the past 3 days. A little adjustment to the GOES 16's orbit there, evidenced by the arc-jet moments. It turned on its thrusters for a period to maintain its geosynchronous near equatorial orbit. Heliospheric current sheet is next. We've got some activity likely rising in the southern hemisphere, and Earth is now in a North Pole-oriented current sheet. You can see it shown here in green. South Pole current sheet shown here in red. Here's the line of sight view. That's the top view. There's the line of sight view. We'll get the sunspots and coronal holes in a moment. Here's the coronal hole view, and I would note some significant North Pole-oriented coronal holes rotating in here. So in the northern hemisphere, you can see some major coronal holes rotating in. We do see some definition, which we'll show you in a moment. We can expect some perhaps geo-effective coronal holes, which will likely strike the Earth geospace with some high-speed solar wind within about a week. Here's the view from SDO, the Solar Dynamics Observatory. You can see one well-defined coronal hole here in the northern hemisphere. Look for quite a few more coming in this area. Again, those are pretty significant coronal holes. We are still seeing a coronal hole shortage overall for solar cycle 25, so it is a slow roll as far as coronal hole output. we're expecting to see some rather rapid upticks here as the solar polar field reversal process is taking its good old time. Next, moving to sunspots. We've got two major groups to talk about. Sunspot 3004 is quite huge, larger than the Earth. Sunspot 3006, not so much, but it is beta gamma class. Both of those sunspots are beta gamma class. 3001 is only alpha class. It's got rather simple magnetic fields. It's unlikely to produce major flares. Here's the 1700 angstroms view. You see the evolution, if there is any, of these sunspots over the past 24 hours. To realize that they've been mostly stable. By the way, thanks to our YouTube viewers. Congratulations on realizing our channel exists. Let us know in the comments how you found us, as we find it very interesting the way certain channels are recommended and certain nonsense is promoted on the platform while other facts are suppressed. By the way, we've got over 200 videos in our cosmology segments. We've got smashamash.org presents the sun videos. We've even got some music videos, so check those out. What about driving, riding, and pro tips? Have you seen those playlists? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff besides space weather on the channel. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And by the way, our Twitter poll is complete. And guess what? 92% of respondents do not think Twitter is fixed. Only, I think one person only voted to suggest that Twitter is fixed. Yeah, I don't think Twitter's fixed. What a joke. People think that Elon Musk can just buy Twitter and then flip a switch and whoops, the censorship is gone. Social media is fixed. And censorship is gone, folks. Your free speech has been reestablished because Elon Musk bought Twitter. What a pile of crap. Let's talk about merch. We've placed this in order of best selling. So these are actually our worst selling items here. And keep in mind, folks, our merch does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. The merch reflects demand for merch. So some of it is facts, some of it is public service messages, some of it is just propaganda, some of it is just for fun. So, but we make sure that the designs are of very high quality. I would say to each of you, universum liberate. If you don't know what it means, you probably have access to the internet since you're viewing this video there. Look it up. Universum liberate, folks. If I could wave my magic wand, I'd set everybody free. I'm currently wearing the Mensa hat because I believe in personal responsibility. So I'm encouraging you to make Earth not suck again. These pieces of merch are conversation starters. So make Earth not suck again. Tell people about Google bias. If you're using it as a verb, it should mean to obtain biased search results by using the Google Junkware engine to obtain your internet search results. I'm also wearing the Do Not Pole Vault to Caldera socks today. Another public service message brought to you at massive personal risk and expense by Smash staff and I. Please give Smash staff a raise by picking up some merch. Thanks to our BitChute subscribers as well. YouTube, we are putting up videos on BitChute on the regs. Could have found one there yesterday. And check it out, we got 46 views on our 12-hour Twitch stream yesterday, streaming the sun, having a little bit of fun while we do it. Thanks to our Twitch followers. And we are also in charge of our own website. So we replaced Patreon with something superior. We still do have Patreon, thanks to our Smash Team members. There is additional content there for especially gold and silver Smash Team members. Smashamash.com/SmashTeam. You can find links below this video as well as on our homepage at smashamash.com. Patreon still does exist. Again, give Smash staff a raise by contributing to our cause. And welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. Congratulations on realizing that our web ring exists. We created smashamash.com in 2019 in response to the pathetic, putrid, and sickening censorship on Facebook. We decided we needed our own servers, folks, because, well, big tech just wasn't panning out. So we decided to go off on our own so we can do whatever we want. Yes, free speech purism. It's one of the precepts at smashamash.com. And once again, welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. Let's get back to some space weather data here. proton flux flatline over the past 3 days, and the past few weeks actually. And the X-ray flux has been dipping over the past 3 days. You can see a general downward trend there in the X-ray flux. Let's take a look at it visually in 131 angstroms. There's only one significant C-class flare here. It came from sunspot 3006, which has been an overperformer, having produced multiple M flares and an X-class flare as it rose over the northeastern limb. Anyway, that's a great view of X-rays in 131 angstroms from the SDO, my favorite telescope, and let's blast through some more. We've got some stars on our chart. Mine faces the south. If you're up before dawn, you may see Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus rising ahead of the closest star. The blue line is the galactic plane, and the yellow line is the ecliptic. That's in the-sky.org. If you want to make your own star chart, put in your zip code. This is the all-sky chart. Lots of other choices there. Let's do a solar system forecast before we look at coronagraphs and cosmic rays. So there's what's going on in the solar system. Let's advance this 1 week. We'll be approaching another full moon there. We'll have a gibbous waxing in 1 week as all the planets orient themselves on the same side of the sun, and people are frightened for no reason because they don't understand basic physics. Next, looking at coronagraphs. The planets aren't going to kill you. Next, looking at coronagraphs. We're going to show the stereo A coronagraph here at Lagrange 5 and the SOHO-LASCO C3 here at Lagrange 1. So we are expecting coronal mass ejections. Some of this ejecta will be leaving the solar corona within the next, I'll say the next day. And yeah, remember folks, we don't need sunspots or solar flares to see coronal mass ejections. These are all separate features that are often related, but not necessarily reliant on each other. And the physics isn't even fully understood as to how those things relate. So anyway, there's our coronagraph imagery. We do see some ejecta coming out of the northern portion of the sun over here, sort of on the opposite side. Nothing earthly directed at the moment. Again, we can expect some earthly oriented, maybe some earthly vicinity coronal mass ejections. And let's close out with a breakdown of some reliable and believable cosmic ray monitors for the past 30 days. So here's the 30-day situation when it comes to cosmic rays from the Apatity neutron monitor. You can see a significant downward trend there at Apatity over the past 30 days. Barentsburg, a similar downward trend over the past 30 days. So there hasn't been all that much plasma in the solar system lately. However, we do see cosmic rays dipping, as we would expect, as we approach solar maximum. Next, we'll go farther south to Athens, Greece, a downward trend at Athens, Greece over the past 30 days as well. Not a surprise to those of you who understand the relationship between solar cycles and cosmic ray flux. A dip also showing up here in cosmic rays at Mexico City. So a 30-day reduction in the cosmic ray flux. And now let's go farther north, back to Oulu, Finland. So there's Oulu, a downward trend at Oulu. Looks like we're batting 1,000 as far as less cosmic ray flux. Let's go as far south as we can get to DOMB and DOMC Antarctica, and a similar downward trend at DOMB, and a similar downward trend at DOMC. That's where our YouTube exclusive daily space weather video ends. There are at least 2 more on Twitch by the time you've seen this on YouTube. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Press like, subscribe, share, tell your friends and foes, press the notification bell. Most of all, visit our links, support the channel. And yeah, thanks again, YouTube viewers. As I sign off from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news, may that solar wind be at your back.